3 reasons why your lead nurturing tactics are annoying your customers.
The million-dollar question is, how do you build a sales and marketing machine so you can systematically and predictably generate new business and ultimately thrive in a hyper-competitive global market? This is Sales and Marketing Insights, where entrepreneurs find ideas and answers to exponentially grow their businesses.
The number one thing is you're not considering the entire buyer's journey. A lot of times businesses just get into lead nurturing and they just start putting in place some follow-up sequence emails in the hope of somehow turning those visitors that converted into a contact to a customer. But they haven't fully embraced the whole concept of a buyer's journey. Buyer's journey, in a very simple sense, can be broken down into 3 stages: awareness, consideration, and decision. Those are kind of the 3 stages a buyer goes through in their purchase journey before they make a purchase decision. So when you think about a lead nurture strategy, you have to make sure that you're moving your buyers from an awareness stage through consideration stage and until they make a decision on what product or service they may choose to go forward with. So when you think about your lead nurture strategy, you have to make sure you're leveraging your content assets in a way that it moves the buyer from the initial stage of becoming aware of their problem and they're being able to articulate what that problem is, and then start becoming aware of the solutions that's available and start considering their options and until they make a decision on what choice they're going to go forward with. So if your content marketing and your lead nurture strategies and really propelling that buyer to move through those stages, then you're not doing a good job. So what you need to do from a lead nurture strategy, make sure that your content and connections and tactics that you're using to stay in touch with that prospect and stay top of mind is really moving that buyer through the entire buyer's journey. So that's a number 1 tactic that you need to keep in mind. If you're not doing a good job of that, then you might be pretty much destroying that relationship that you're building before you even build it. So some of the things to keep in mind is the kind of content assets that might go well with the different stages of the buyer's journey. So for example, on a decision stage, they might have a lot of questions. They probably have a couple of different options to choose from. So you want to make sure that you're giving content such as comparison charts with what you offer as a company versus what your competitor might offer, case studies that proves the success stories that you may have, testimonial videos or reviews from your current customers, happy customers. Those are all important things that you may want to incorporate into your lead nurture strategy when you're moving a customer at the decision stage of that buyer's journey. And the second thing is you're not customizing the content. It's kind of similar to what I said earlier, but you also need to think about where these customers are buying, consuming content. For example, a lot of times I've seen lead nurturing is just strictly utilizing email alone. But that's not just strictly focusing on email as an only means to nurture leads is not the best and the most effective way to do it. If you think about it, email open rate has considerably dropped in the recent years as people are getting bombarded with the amount of emails that they're receiving. So you have to think about more of a multi-channel lead nurture strategy. What I mean by that is not by just looking at email marketing as a means to do lead nurture, but think about things like retargeting that prospect on different social channels or even on other websites that they may go after visiting your site. So if your prospect has consumed some content and shown interest to your product or service, you should be retargeting them and showing different content offers that kind of moves the buyer to the next stage of the buyer's journey. You might even consider using some offline medium. You may also need to utilize some phone conversations in the process of nurturing that lead. So if you don't tailor the content and the channels that you utilize, you might be missing out on such opportunity. And don't just rely heavily on email alone, but consider videos, consider webinars, and other forms of content that you might be able to utilize to train and educate that buyer and ultimately helping them make a very educated decision. And then the third reason why you might be ruining your lead nurture strategy is because you're sending way too many emails. Again, I think it may sound like these are all related, but I've seen where companies just send an enormous amount of email as part of their lead nurture strategy, and especially just filling the inbox of a prospect. There's no other thing to do other than to send a bunch of email, right? You can completely ruin that relationship by just sending them way too many emails when they're just getting familiar with your business and your product offering, and they're just doing research. And if you're filling their inbox with just way too much junk, that's just going to turn off that customer. So you do not want to do that. So you would be doing a disservice to yourself by just sending way too many emails. The bonus point that I would make is that you're not giving enough attention to your leads, A lot of times, if all you do is just send emails, but you're not doing anything else in the way of reaching that prospect or a buyer, then you're not giving them the attention that they deserve. So if you're not doing a good job in staying in touch with that prospect through some other channels, and you're not giving them the attention and the time that they deserve, then you're not doing a good job in nurturing those relationships. Hopefully these tactics have given you something to think about in your organization. If you're already doing lead nurturing, it's amazing, it's good. But if you're guilty of some of those things that I've outlined here, I hope that this video has given you some things to start implementing and acting upon in the days to come.